Recording in progress.
For the
For the
amazing
amazing
Keaton.
Keaton.
Okay, I'll start with prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु प्रियतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं भजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना श्रीशाखानिधां च श्रीचैतन्यवनं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथं तथा स्वपदान्तिकम् नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमस्ते सप्तकाञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं Thank you, dear devotees, for joining. Uh, First of all, apologies for any mistakes I'm going to make, and I seek all your blessings before continuing this topic. And yeah, let's get started. And a little disclaimer or a prayer that I hope during the class I do not succeed in breaking our piece to pieces, and that the discussion it brings at least a small piece of real peace. So, yeah, the things that I'm going to cover, like some questions. So, this is how I have planned this to be. Like some questions when I'm going to cover, like when were you disturbed or when you felt peaceful? What is being peaceful or what is peace? And then who is peaceful, who is not, the characters. Then why do I need to be peaceful? Where does even peace come from? And then how do I even be peaceful? So these are some questions that I'm aiming to address during this discussion. So I'll open the floor with first question for you. Is that when was the last time you felt disturbed? Like in our everyday lives, anyone who wants to like contribute to that? Like when was the
Was the
last time?
last time?
And
And
if
if
you
you
do
do
not
not
even
even
unmute
unmute
and
and
share, you
share,
can
you can
even
even
think
think
about it.
about it.
Last Wednesday, I was super unpeaceful.
Mm. And
And
when
when
was the
was the
last
last
time
time
felt
felt
peace?
peace?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji,
आपके
आपके
म्यूजिक
म्यूजिक
वाली
वाली
settings
settings
on है.
on है.
So
So
there is
there
an
is an
echo.
echo.
Sorry, I forgot to remove it. Yeah. So I was saying last Wednesday I felt unpeaceful, and the last time I felt peaceful maybe is usually at night when everything is over, the day is coming to an end, and I'm about to sleep. That time I feel peaceful. Everyone is asleep. There is some form of peace. And even I've been experiencing some peace in the mornings these days. When I wake up, before anyone wakes up at home, there is some peace. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for contributing, Prabhuji. So yeah, if anyone would like to answer as well, or I hope you thought like some thoughts came to your head that when did you felt disturbed or when did you feel peaceful last time? So it's everyday reality, like the environment while like getting onto work, coming back, sleep. There are so many times that we might feel disturbed, sometimes even due to dreams, food, so many things, so many external things, so many internal things, overthinking, anxiety, comparison, distractions, so many things are there. So, yeah, I just wanted to start with that before going to what is peace. You can type in the chat and I'll just type it over here. Like, what is peace for you? What do you think when you think that, oh, this person is peaceful? Even like, don't overthink about it. Just based on the previous questions, the moments that made you feel at peace or the moments that made you feel peaceful. Like, what is peace for you? Like, anything that comes to your head, you can type in the chat, calm in mind, and type it. When the mind is not disturbed, we are in peace. Being in present, not too agitated. I'm supposed to type these, but I'll just read there in the chat. Okay, when I'm aligned with what I want to achieve holistically. So, yeah, we have some answers like calm in the mind, when the mind is not disturbed, being in present, not too agitated, when I'm aligned with what I want to achieve holistically. Karan Prabhu also says when I'm in present, feeling content is equal to peace. Thank you. Thank you for your answers. So, yeah, these are the different definitions we have of the peace. So, peace in the scriptures is in Sanskrit, it's called Shanta. And this is one of the thing that Maharaj mentions in one of his short videos. It's part of a lecture that real peace is when we understand that the sources of every living being is God and we are simply caretakers. So, what we like different answers we just saw. So, there are some confusions about the external peace, internal peace, and like how do we differentiate? Are these even the peace for us? Like, not the calm, the agitations, the disturbance, are these like not having these? Like, for example, if I do not have any disturbance, any agitations, am I peaceful? If we imagine our lives, like if we remove all the agitations, if we remove all the reasons we are thinking that we'll be agitated because of, if we remove those, is that enough for being peaceful? So, yeah, so real peace, it comes from how, like Maharaj said, okay, how we are relating ourselves, how we are seeing ourselves in relationship with Krishna. So to be peaceful, it doesn't mean to like physically maintain ideal peace, but to experience one's relationship with Krishna. And only someone who has realized that nothing beyond Krishna can like there is nothing beyond Krishna, they can achieve real peace and fearlessness. And we are all anxious for peace. And Krishna, he reveals how to achieve peace. So there is a Bhagavad Gita verse that Prabhupada refers to as peace formula. Does anyone know which verse that is?
Bhoktaram Yajna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, precisely. Thank you, Prabhuji. 7 crore. So yes, that is the verse that Prabhupada mentions that leads to peace. Before that, like uh Krishna, he is revealing, even through that verse, Krishna is revealing to us how to achieve peace and what peace is. If we ignore what he speaks, like even our Chaitya Guru inside us as well, all of the arrangements, whatever we are doing, we are doomed to reach to the failure. Peace is inherent within us, within all of us. It is our nature. And unless we find it ourselves, again, peace is something like happiness or love. Unless we find it within ourselves, we won't be able to give it to some other person. Like a poor man, if he doesn't have money, he won't be able to give any money or any charitable item to someone else. So, yeah, why is it important to discuss this or discuss this quality or develop this qualities? That we all want peace around us. We all want world peace, inner peace, outer peace. So unless we have that peace ourselves, we won't be able to develop it in our external environments. So if we want to bring peace in this world, it has to begin finding that peace within ourselves. And we cannot give anything, something like qualitatively that we do not have. So, yes, as Vamsudar Prabhu, he mentioned Bhakta Ram Yagya Tapasam. So, this is the verse that Prabhupada, he in the purport, he mentions it as the peace formula. So, it is translated as a person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So yeah, in the purport, Prabhupada, he extends that how if we just accept Krishna, that Krishna is the proprietor of everything, our intelligence, our fame, our popularity, whatever we like, whatever we mention with ourselves, whatever we align with ourselves, everything is property of Krishna. The wealth, the work, and again, like apart from this as well, the Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das, that I am his servant and he's the supreme enjoyer. Whatever that really means, like Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and our eternal nature is to love him. Like these are the ways to attain the peace formula. Like our like nature is to serve him with love, and because Krishna enjoys love, he does not enjoy things, he enjoys only love. So our main function, our real function, is to love him and find peace in his greatness. Like he's the master of material nature, and the conditioned souls are under his stringent rules. He's the greatest of all demigods. He's greater than the greatest of the demigods. Okay. So now again, like based on the definitions even we provided, it's necessary to find the difference between the inner peace and the outer peace. So to like find it more, to like dissect it even further, I'm going to ask you a few more questions. Like, have you ever had everything around you going well, but there is still some restlessness inside, that you feel something is incomplete or something doesn't fit well? Like externally everything is perfect, everything makes sense all the time. Okay, true, Mataji. Like if anyone feels comfortable to like give example, anything like. Yeah, so there are situations where everything outside it seems peaceful, but there is some inner chaos going on. So can you think, so now we're talking about who, so can you think of some characters in Srimad Bhagavatam or CC if you want, who had everything but were still restless? Like externally they were all peaceful, but internally there was some chaos going on and they were not peaceful.
Vyasdev?
Vyasadev,
I mean,
uh, do you
wouldn't
want to
say
like explain?
chaos, but some form of dissatisfaction that, I mean, he had done everything, he had written all Vedas, Puranas, he had done, achieved the tasks that he had to achieve. Still, he was feeling, he hasn't done
Mm,
enough. Maybe that doesn't fall into restlessness, but some sort of dissatisfaction, I guess.
very nice example, Prabhuji.
It's
Also,
not.
when I say outer peace, just 1 second, sorry, Prabhu. When I say outer peace, it doesn't mean that they were in any yogic state. It could be like they had the physical comforts or they had
Mm,
everything. They were still
mm,
in a chaos.
So for
Right.
me, I think of characters like Indra,
Mm,
Duryodhan, Ravan. For them, externally, everything was there, but internally, they were very restless.
I see. Yeah.
Let
Kamsa.
me let me add Chitraketu. I'm going to add
Mm,
Chitraketu.
Yeah, Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu mentioned Chitraketu. And Suman Mataji mentioned Kamsa. Yeah.
very, yeah, spot
And to a
on.
large extent, I also want to say that
Mm,
many of us, right? I mean, externally, we have everything in one sense, but still, there is some restlessness inside,
mm,
Mm.
which we can easily, forego, but still we have it. So, anyway.
yeah, very true. Yeah, with Chitraketu, I'm also like, there was some hankering he had in the externals as well for the sun. But yeah. So yeah, great examples. I had these: Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan, Kans, Hiranyakashipu, Ajamil as well, Indra, Vishwamitra. Mataji, do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, Vishwamitra, had everything satisfied to be like um, a rishi. He wanted to be like a Raja Rishi. Then,
Mm,
then he attained that. He wanted to be even higher. So he
mm.
he maxed out on his level at every point. He had everything that power could give him, but still he was
Yeah,
not peaceful.
very valid example. So yeah, I really like the different ranges of the examples. I really didn't think of Vyasdev as one of the example, but he's a positive example, positive kind of restlessness here. So yeah, the rest of that you all mentioned, like Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan, they were living in a palace. They were comfortable, had everything protected, but internally they had the fear, attachment, insecurities. So externally they were stable and internally they were disturbed. Same Kans, Ravana. They were kings, they had full control, they had power, but internally they were constantly anxious about, like Kansa, in case of Kansa, he was constantly anxious about Krishna. He couldn't even sleep properly. So again, he also had maximum external control, but that was not equal to peace. Hiranyakashipu, he had nearly like invincibility boons, the boons he got from Lord Brahma. He had total control over his kingdom, but still his inner state was rage, obsession with control. He wanted to rule all over the world. He had the fear of losing his power as well. Ajamil had settled household life like before his transformation. Inner state was lust, attachment, moral conflict, anxiety, and Indra in so many examples, as Gautama Prabhu mentioned. He had heavenly kingdoms, he had luxury, he had power, but again, internally, like the Ashwamedha Yagya and all those, and even the rains in Vrindavan, insecurity, the fear of losing position, the jealousy. So even as high position as Indra, it does not remove insecurity, it increase it, like in this case. So on contradictory, like the other flip side of this question is like, have you ever gone through something difficult, but internally you felt peaceful because you were depending on Krishna, you knew that Krishna is there in the background somewhere. So basically, outer chaos, inner peace. Like, can you think of any situations?
Momentarily, but not as a permanent state. Yeah.
But yeah, momentarily is also energy. Mataji.
Because sometimes that is the only option
Mm,
to depend. Yeah.
yeah,
You are not given any options.
very true. And extending it to Srimad Bhagavatam, can you think of characters in Srimad Bhagavatam who were in midst of chaos or miseries, pain, sufferings, but they were still peaceful?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Haribo. Yeah, very apt example of being peaceful in all kind of states, external states. Yeah, any more examples?
But Pralad Maharaj is covered already, so you're thinking of something else.
Jagannath
But all
Gopal Prabhu.
examples are
Jagannath
all
Gopal Prabhu.
examples are
I've seen in external chaos, he's like completely peaceful inside.
Parikshit Maharaj.
Thank you,
Mm.
Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So there are many examples in Srimad Bhagavatam who fit under this category, who had externally chaotic situations, but they were internally peaceful, like Prahlad Maharaj Prabhuji mentioned. He was tortured repeatedly, life-threatening situations, but they were there. But he remembered Krishna peacefully, and he did not even have hatred towards his father or anyone who was trying to harm him. So extreme chaos outside, but internally he was fixed. Ambarish Maharaj, he was threatened by Durvasa Muni. Sudarshan Chakra, even the Sudarshan Chakra situation even appeared, but he remained calm and he did not retaliate. Kunti Maharani is there, constant calamities outside, but yet she prayed to remember Krishna in difficulty. So she saw those chaos as spiritually valuable. Gajendra is there, attacked by crocodile, life-threatening struggles were there. He surrendered to Krishna. So, and in his case, it was clearly an example that peace it began when resistance it ended and surrender began. Vidura was insulted, rejected from palace, but his inner state was detached and he was fixed on the Lord as well. And Brajbasis under Govardhan Hill. There was so much chaos outside, it was constantly raining. But if we remember that picture in the Krishna book, they all were so lovingly looking at Krishna and all the faith they had on Krishna. And finally, Rukmini Devi. So she was forcibly was about to get married to Shishupal, and there was so much chaos outside, there was danger. But internally, she was composed, she was surrendered. So there was inner stillness despite external crisis. So, so today we are going to talk about Rukmini Devi. So this is Shri Rukmini Dwarkadish from New Dwarka, Los Angeles. Shri Rukmini Dwarkadish ki jai. And story time. So getting into a little bit of background. So Rukmini, she was the daughter of King Bhishmaka, and Bhishmaka he was a very great devotee. And in his kingdom, uh, Vaishnavas would always come, like great saints, great sages. They would always come to visit him because he was giving them all facilities to render devotional service to the Lord. And while they were explaining the glories of Lord Krishna, Rukmini Devi, she would hear those and she would hear those again and again, the glories of the Lord. And because she's none other than Lakshmi Devi herself, the supreme goddess of fortune, when she heard those beautiful pastimes of Krishna, hearing his names and hearing his qualities, it was natural for her that it awoke the love of Krishna within her heart. So her father Bhishmaka, he heard her plea that she wanted to marry to Krishna, and he also wanted the same thing. But her brother Rukmi, he was envious of Krishna, and he wanted to defy Krishna. So he knew that he would never like he wanted everything, and he knew that he would not be get everything like, but somehow or other he wanted to defy Krishna. And how did he want to defy Krishna? He decided that instead of getting Rukmini, he knew that Rukmini wanted to get married to Krishna, but he thought like he decided no, like let's get Rukmini married to Shishupal instead. And Shishupal was the number one most envious enemy of Krishna. He was Ravan in his previous life. So Bhishmaka, he remained neutral. He didn't say anything basically, and he let his son take over. And everything was arranged that Shishupal was about to get married to Rukmini, and marriage was going to take place the other day. And as chief guest, Jarasandh was invited. Jarasandh was another hater of Krishna because he was the father-in-law of Kansa, and Krishna killed Kans. So, and all kind of other demons were there. Salva, Dantavakra, all kind of demons were invited as well. So Rukmini, Mother Rukmini, she was thinking like, what a terrible circumstance I am in. Like, but Krishna, he can save me, and I am about. So she heard so much about him. She was so much in love with him. In about like in with him, with his glories. She just was so fixed, surrendered already in her mind. So she was constantly thinking about him. She was like, this is a very terrible circumstance, but Krishna can save me. And she was thinking like, right now I'm completely going to be surrendered over, handed over to a demoniac, materialistic, envious person. And she was just a young girl at that time. Like, what could she do to defend herself against such Maharathi Kshatriyas that were surrounding her? And nobody cared what she had to share at that point. So she was ordered, like she had no choice. The entire atmosphere was against her. And by material standards, she had no hope, but she prayed. She prayed to Krishna, and she heard the glories of Krishna. She had faith in Krishna. She prayed to Krishna. So she sent a letter to a Brahmana, and we are going to read some of the verses that were written in her message to Lord Krishna. So I would need, so there are 8 verses. So maybe 332 we can do. So if there are 3 readers or maybe 2 readers who want to volunteer to read those verses.
I can
Right.
read.
Okay.
Go ahead, Saraswati. Saraswati, go ahead, please.
Acha, okay. Sri Rukmini said in her letter as read by the Brahmana, O beauty of the worlds, having heard of your qualities, which enter the ears of those who hear and remove their bodily distress, and having also heard of your beauty, which fulfills all the visual desires of those who see, I have fixed my shameless mind upon you, O Krishna. O Mukunda, you are equal only to yourself in lineage, character, beauty, knowledge, youthfulness, wealth, and influence. O lion among men, you delight the minds of all mankind. What aristocratic, sober minded, and marriageable girl of a good family would not choose you as her husband when the proper time has come? Therefore, my dear Lord, I have chosen you as my husband, and I surrender myself to you. Please come swiftly, O Almighty One, and make me your wife. My dear lotus eyed Lord, let Shishupal never touch the the hero's portion like a jackal stealing the property of a lion. Oh, property of a lion.
Thank you, Saraswati.
Should I read the fourth one also? Read the fourth one?
Maybe you can, yeah, read the 4th one. That
Yeah.
you can read the rest.
If I have sufficiently worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead by pious works, sacrifices, charity, rituals, and vows, and also by worshipping the demigods, Brahmanas, and Gurus, then may Gadagraj come and take my hand, and not Damagosha's son or anyone else.
O unconquerable one, tomorrow, when my marriage ceremony is about to begin, you should arrive unseen in Vidarbha and surround yourself with the leaders of your army. Then crush the forces of Chaitya and Magadendra, and marry me in the Rakshasa style, winning me with your valor. Since I will be staying within the inner chambers of the palace, you may wonder, how can I carry you away without killing some of your relatives? But I shall tell you a way. On the day before the marriage, there is a grand procession to honor the royal family's deity, and in this procession, the new bride goes outside the city to visit goddess Girija. O lotus-eyed one, great souls like Lord Shiva hanker to bathe in the dust of your lotus feet and thereby destroy their ignorance. If I cannot obtain your mercy, I shall simply give up my vital force, which I will have become weak from the severe penances I will perform. Then, after hundreds of lifetimes of endeavor, I may obtain your mercy. The Brahmana said, This is the confidential message I have brought with me, O Lord of the Yadus. Please consider what must be done in these circumstances and do it at once. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Saraswati, for reading. So when Krishna received this message from Rukmini, he not only read the lines, but he could understand the bhava because he is bhavagrahi Janardana. He could understand the feelings of Rukmini. So she prayed that I have given my heart, my life to you. How could I live with somebody who hates you, Shishupal? I only want to hear your glories, my Lord. I only want to serve you. And I know I am unqualified. I know whatever happens is my own destiny. And she's not saying that Krishna come or I'll give up my life. She says that I'll perform tapasya in such ways that I'll give up my life birth after birth until you accept me. So when she sent those prayers to Krishna, she was desperate. And after the Brahmana was gone and she was waiting, so her desperate, it became more intensified. So because she didn't know what was going to happen. externally, like the state of not knowing what's going to be and not knowing what Krishna's like what is going on in Krishna's mind. What is Krishna going to do? Did the Brahmana even reach there? Did Krishna deny? So all of these things were going on, but her heart was totally fixed, Ananya. It was totally fixed with one pointed attention on taking shelter of Krishna. Like no matter what happens, if it even if it requires another lifetime or lifetimes over lifetime, I'm going to worship him. I'm going to surrender. So she was completely surrendered in her heart. So Krishna, he creates these disturbances to increase the love of his devotees. He creates this vipralambha, which intensifies the aspiration for the meeting. And this type of separation, it intensifies the great sense of necessity and yearning for the reunion with the Lord. So sometimes that happens, like when I was speculating with this, like not going to temple for a long time or having your Ishtadevta or someone like the deities that you love and not visiting them for a long time. But still, like as you go closer and closer to the city, like you know that your deities are around you, like you are heading towards those. The excitement and the love to see them that increases. So I really like how Krishna, he intensifies that love. He knows how to awaken the deepest and most satisfying love between himself and his devotees. And Rukmini was so thorough, like even though her prayer was just a few shlokas, as we read, she expressed her feelings for Krishna, her heart, her desperation, her goal, and even told him how to kidnap her and how he could kidnap her through her prayers. So after this, she cried out to Krishna, "Save me!" And yeah, so of course, Krishna, he always hears the prayers of his devotees, and he did come. And but of course, like as we read, she did not just cry it out that Krishna, come and save me. She was also willing to give her everything else, like just to be saved and just to go closer to Krishna. And she was ready to do whatever Krishna wanted her to do. And this is such a wonderful example that Krishna, he came and took Rukmani away at the last possible second, just when she was about to get married to Shishupal. He was right there. Shishupal was right there. She was just about to be connected with him in a matter of seconds. It would have been too late, and right then he showed up. Krishna showed up, and it is explained that Rukmani Devi was so beautiful that seeing her, the other demons, the other kings, they were fainting, and the Kshatriya princes, they were all literally fainting and falling off their chariots, and because they were so lusty. And Shishupal, upon seeing, he was utterly infatuated and flattered. Like he was just a moment ago, he was thinking that he was going to be united with such a beautiful, wonderful woman. Just when he was about to think, I'm victorious, Krishna came in, and yeah, he was about to, like, he was thinking, finally, I'm victorious. I have defeated Krishna. And just when that's the point, like Krishna showed up and snatched her away and took her with her. And Rukmini, she like and Rukmini, when Krishna comes and says, "Get on my chariot," she doesn't look back. Krishna doesn't look back, and all like they leave the place and they go around 60 kilometers away and get married. And like all these things happen. So regarding the Rakshas style wedding that was mentioned, so Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he mentions that we should not compare ourselves to Rukmini, even like or Krishna in this case. So Rukmini, she had pure motives to surrender to the absolute truth, just like the gopis had. Like they were surrendered to Krishna. They left their husbands in the middle of the night, but uh, it was the it is considered as the supreme, most pure form of spiritual mortality. And Rukmini Devi, she had no ego, she had no selfish desires. Everything she wanted to do, she wanted to serve Krishna. And she is again the pleasure potency of the Lord. But she understood that Krishna, I'm meant for your enjoyment, and I'll not be enjoyed by anybody. So Maharaj mentions that we must follow in her footsteps. We must be chaste. We must be faithful to Krishna. We must be willing to accept. It was not like that Krishna showed up and she was like, "Oh, my mother is watching, my father is watching, everyone is watching. We cannot do this. Would be against the society." No, she knew what she was praying for. Krishna showed up and she surrendered as well. So now we discussed like what peace is, And like we discussed about when we feel disturbed or when we feel peaceful, what peace is, who were the peaceful characters, and now let's and why it is important to be peaceful, like the chaos, to settle that chaos and to find that peace within us, to find that relation that we share with Krishna, and to share that peace with the world, with people around us as well. But to start with it, we have to look for it within ourselves. Now the question is, where is this peace even coming from? Is it a state of mind? Like, what is peace? So for that, there is this analogy given that Rukmi is compared to the mind, and Bhishmaka, the father, he's compared to intelligence, and Rukmini, she's compared to devotee. Before I proceed, I would just check like if anyone has any comments or questions so far. Whatever we have discussed. Okay. So yeah, Rukmini, she wanted to marry Krishna, and similarly, the devotees, they want to serve Krishna as a devotee. Intelligence, like Bhishmaka, he also had this deep desire that Rukmini get married to Krishna, but Rukmini was the eldest son, so he just remained neutral at that moment. So intelligence knows that, yeah, we should serve. And then the mind, it is so powerful that we feel helpless sometimes. So similarly, Rukmi, he wanted to give Rukmini, the devotee, to Shishupal, which shows Maya in this case. So I'm missing one character here. Can you think like one character that took Rukmini closer to Krishna during this chaos?
The Brahmana.
Precisely. So the Brahmana, he represents the spiritual master. So Rukmini took shelter of a Brahmana who helped her. And devotees, as devotees, we have to take shelter of a Vaishnava, our spiritual masters. So talking about Rukmi as mind, so this is all from Radhanath Maharaj only. So our mind, it tricks us all the time. Like sometimes it wants us to like keep you as Shishupal, like as materialistic, as envious, wants us to like, sometimes we see all kind of people around us. It wants us to drink, it wants us to dance and eat nonsense music, nonsense food, all kind of nonsense thing, watch cinemas and smoke cigarettes, lots and lots of money to get like so that we feel prestigious or impressive, beautiful, handsome, like all kind of things the mind, it lures us to do. So, and while Rukmini, like being the devotee, like as being trying, while we are trying to be a devotee, we are trying to be chaste, faithful, trying to live according to the nature of the soul. And but the mind, it tries to cast us in such an environment that we feel like the more we give up, the more we give up to the mind. There are six. Oh, Brahmana. Okay. The more we give up to the mind, we feel that there will be more coming in. Like people like Shishupal or the Maya, it keeps on luring us. And Rukmi, it seems like even our loved ones, it could be like the mind. Rukmi could, in this scenario, Rukmi could show or be the analogy of anyone in the name of loved ones, friends. We have those bad associations as well. It could be anyone who is trying to be Rukmi in those cases. And they try to keep us forever. Like when they see that we have an inclination toward Krishna, like even the mind, it tries to break us by fixing in such a situation that we completely become trapped in those situations. So in those situations, we also have such situations. We might also have such situations where we feel trapped in life, where we feel trapped in any kind of external situation. It may be at work, it may be at home. So Maharaj says if we cry out with the love and devotion that Rukmini had, with such intense longing, with such distaste for Maya, then the Brahmana, the Gurudev, our spiritual master, he will take our message to Krishna. He will be so pleased that he will personally come and steal our hearts away from the assembly of Maya's representative, which are all around us. So Rukmini, she was surrounded by all sorts of Shishupal's friends and colleagues. Like as she mentions the jackals, the whole den of jackals was there. She was just a lamb. She was like a lamb in that situation. And there was, if we look from the material perspective, there was no hope for her escape. So, but she had faith that Krishna will save me. And yes, Krishna did come for her. And all of the armies of Maya's representative, they couldn't do anything. They were trying to defeat. But because her mind was so fixed in praying to Krishna to save her, Krishna miraculously defeated all of Maya's representative and all of Shishupal's friends and stole her away. And that's the reason he's also known as Hari as well. For one who cries out for Krishna's mercy, following in the footsteps of Rukmini Devi herself. Krishna will steal our lives, steal our hearts from the assembly of material desires and bring us to his transcendental abode. And so now the question might arise. So now we know all of this, like Rukmini and Krishna, like how Krishna came after listening to Rukmini's prayer. So from this example, like the question might arise through Rukmini Devi's example. So now can we get peace in this world? Is it sure that we can get peace if we follow in her footsteps in this world? So for this, there is this famous verse that is quoted so many times, Padam Padam Yat Vidam Natesham. So for those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and who is known, who is famous as Murari, the enemy of the Mura demon. The ocean of the material world is like the water contained in a calf's hoof print. And their goal is Param Padam, Vaikuntha, the place where there are no material miseries, not the place where there is danger at every step. Not the place like this, the world, not the place where there is danger at every step. So, to the degree that we are attached to peace in this world, to the degree, like as much as we attach to the peace in this world, it is the degree that we are going to suffer when there are changes. And when it will change, it is just a matter of time. We don't know what's going to happen at the very next second. Changes must, and it is guaranteed as well. So therefore, those religious people, those who are trying to promise us like externally as well, or we ourselves, we are trying to mentally try to keep us in illusion that everything will be peaceful in this world, like without remembering Krishna, without keeping Krishna in the center. It's just like cheating ourselves and those people external, like the politicians and everyone. It's like cheating ourselves or someone else trying to cheat us. So this like giving us the cheap or the temporary, what do we call that? Like trying to console ourselves or trying to escape it or trying to deny it. So ultimately all of it would be taken away and we are going to suffer when it's going to be taken away. So that is not what we want. So therefore Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, these great scriptures and characters like Rukmini Devi, Vidura, they're not promising us that we are going to find peace in this world. Rather, they are promising us peace within our own heart, which is transcendental to this world of conflict. So that is one thing that I wanted to mention, that even these examples, they do not like guarantee us peace in this world. It's again, they are reinforcing that how it begins in the heart, how it begins within ourselves. So the peace, it's not situational. Like now everything is fine. I'm not disturbed. I'm not agitated. So I'm peaceful. The peace is more internal, and even chaos is internal before it's external. So mind, it creates the disturbance first. It all begins with the mind, and situation, they only triggers it or escalate it. And the external control, it does not produce any peace. Like if I think everything is fine right now, everything is well settled, all of my life is working, everything is in its place. We don't know, again, as the previous verse that we just read, Padam Padam Yatve Padam. We don't know when anything is going to be changed. So what determines our peace? It's our dependence on the Lord. So before we go ahead, like now we have seen the when, what, who, where, why. Now we come to how. So before we proceed to how, I would like to like open it up for any discussion or any questions that we have had so far, and your opinion on this question. Like, how do we attain peace then? Like, what do we even do? We know that peace is not there in this world. And even like developing that internal peace, where do we even start? So, yeah, if there are any comments or any questions on previous slides as well, or if there are any inputs on this question as well, please feel free to unmute and share. Mm,
I I was just contemplating that at the last minute, or maybe even the second,
mm,
Krishna showed up for Rukmini, and before it's too late, right? But sometimes in this world, even after prayers and stuff, um, it may appear, it may seem that the Krishna has not showed up, and the calamity has happened, externally at
mm.
least, right? So, how do we um, understand this?
This is a question, Mataji.
Yeah, I guess my comment turned into a question.
Could you repeat the question part of it?
Um, so in that pastime, that at the last minute, Krishna does show up for Rukmini, even though any minute it could have turned into an different, totally different situation. Krishna did physically show up, but oftentimes we end up in a situation sometimes that there may not be external proof that Krishna did show up, and it may seem that the calamity does happen, right? Even
Mm,
with devotees. So in that case, so what do we learn from this pastime? How do we
mm.
transfer the knowledge from this pastime to apply it? Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, I
It's
don't.
an open question.
Yeah, yeah. So one thing that I can think of is, so one time this I don't know why I keep citing this example. This was shared in LOD once, that one Mataji, she was on her deathbed and she left her body for a few seconds, and she shared that all her life was reeling in front of her eyes, and like during those few seconds or few minutes, how much ever it was. And she saw like her life and the calamities as well, and she saw like Jagannath standing besides her or behind her in all those situations. So having that and then she came back to like she was revived and something happened, and then she shared all of this. And whenever I try to remember this, it gives me goosebumps, like this particular pastime that actually happened. So what I can think of for this question is ki there are so many ways that Krishna, like we do not see Krishna. It could be through anything, through any person. And like given the Kali Yuga and it's hard to see Krishna. Like it's impossible for me like to even imagine seeing Krishna in person. But the ways he shows up, like even during calamities, it's tough to see him immediately. But later, maybe if we contemplate, like if we come out of those calamities, and we can see that it would have been like near to impossible to come out of those calamities. How they might be mild, they might be severe, they might turn from mild to severe. But if Krishna hadn't intervened, or if Krishna wouldn't have been there, it would have been even more worse, or we would have been struck or depressed, or in even more miserable condition, is what I can think of. Like if we are not able to see Krishna during those calamities, we can maybe try to, like, again, the journal things might help later, like seeing Krishna in those situations.
Thank
And
you.
does anyone have answer to that question? I know Mataji, I just blabbered.
Thank you. It's perfect. Thank you.
We have some chats. We should start by writing a letter expressing our desires to Krishna. That's beautiful, Prabhuji. With the mindset that Krishna will do what is good for us, issue that we do not always remember him. He does show up when we remember him. So when you say, Mataji, he does show up when you remember him, how do you know that it was Krishna who showed up?
So I can share my personal recent story. I usually very secretive about sharing my personal things, but
We can stop recording, Mataji. Like, wait,
I can no, it's not that
pause.
kind of personal. So recently I interviewed for a position. It went really well, and my expectation, again, the expectation causes disturbance. The expectation was that I should hear back very quickly. When I did not, I was so disturbed. Well, I am not getting a phone call. Even if somebody should call and tell me you're not selected, I just want to hear that. But then suddenly, it may be a result of this satsang or my association with all of you that a thought came to my mind. Maybe the Krishna is protecting me from something. That's why I'm not hearing back. So after that, I was in peace, total peace. So I all of those 3-4 days I didn't remember him that he might be protecting me. He's not good for me. What's not happening? But today it came to my mind that definitely it's not good for me. Other option that I have is better. So as soon as I thought about that, I was in total peace. After 3-4 days. So it's when I remembered him, he showed up in realization. That's what I mean to say. Not in physically, he's not in a conditioned soul. It's not going to show up in physical, but in realization, he showed up when I remembered him. But last 3-4 days, I didn't think of that. It didn't come to my mind. But when I remembered him, he did show up, and I was in peace. So that's what.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing and your vulnerability to share with us, Mataji. Thank you very much. It's very, very beautiful example that you shared with us. Yeah, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu or Lekha ka. What's next?
Mataji, you can go. I'll speak after.
Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Nupur. Yeah, I was also thinking along in the same lines, in the sense, usually, when we really like are in a situation, we remember Krishna and we are like, okay, Krishna, why have you not come yet? But almost always, when we when we just wait it out enough and when we just connect the dots backwards, we will see his hand in whatever spanned out. The reason why we might be in anxiety, like Krishna, like solve this for me right now, is because we
Did it just mean? Did we lost Lekha ka?
Yeah, we lost her in the right moment.
Yeah,
I mean, wrong moment.
baggage of karma, how
she's
to
back.
to
Sorry,
oh
Lekha ka, we lost you.
I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Oh yeah, no, I was just saying that with with Krishna, right? Like whenever we are like, oh Krishna, like why have you not solved the situation for me? Solve it for me right now. Or when we like really want him to be there at that point in time, almost always, as the situations are rolling out, we will be able to connect the dots and see Krishna's hand in how he helped span the situation out for us, and we couldn't have done that ourselves. And I was also just saying that we whenever we most of the times we have an outcome in our mind, and we always want Krishna to comply with that outcome, and that's what creates even more stress, because like something that I want, Krishna's like not making that particular outcome. Um but he knows us much more deeper and better than we do, and he also is the only one who has the power to like alter our paths and do path course correction. So if we sincerely seek, express our queries in terms of anger, in terms of Krishna, guide me in this, he will always show himself, show himself up. Just at that moment we will not be able to like perceive it, because we are in a bit of a biased situation, in a biased mindset, but almost always we will be able to see how he spanned that situation out for us.
Mm. Very
That's the
nice.
whole form of Vittal, right? Like Vittal is like Vittala's form of Krishna is like the most. He's waiting on Vit on brick. Like it's about as best as it can get. Like no one else in this world will wait for us like how he is waiting.
Mm,
Yeah.
very beautiful. Thank you for mentioning those points. Very sweet. Yes, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu.
So Hare Krishna. So I was hearing a class by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu has also heard it, I know, because I remember discussing this with him. So he can also chime in with specifics because I don't remember the class exactly. But Chaitanya Charan Prabhu came up with an acronym the way he always does. And it was about how Krishna shows up in our life. And it may not be necessarily like a dramatic thing like Rukmini, but it could be very small things. He mentions four things. He mentions, sometimes we are doing something, we'll suddenly get a remembrance of, we are stuck in something, we'll suddenly get a remembrance, and we'll make our way out. Sometimes, he gives various, like, do you remember Vallabh Chaitanya Prabhu, what all he says? Yeah, I think gap, yeah, three things. Can you mention the abbreviation? I forgot the.
I don't have it at top of my mind, Prabhu. Let me think.
Yeah. But I'll search for that class and send. It's a beautiful class, actually. And it just puts things in perspective. And he gives personal examples also. Um, yeah. But anyway, that is something I wanted to share. Although I didn't share anything in one sense, but.
No, even knowing that part is also peaceful, Guruji. That, yeah, like seeing Krishna and having Krishna. Oh, Gautama Prabhu,
Oh,
you
yeah.
shared. You
Yeah.
want to read that, Guruji?
Yes, so guide, G is guide. Krishna provides inner guidance through intelligence and conscience. Like sometimes we ourselves are surprised. How are we able to do this? We may not have had any prior background or anything. Then arrange, Krishna arranges external circumstances to help us grow. Like so many things are just given to us. Oh, I might have a seva attitude. I might have the ability to do the seva also, but then the opportunity to do seva is actually not in my hands. That comes from other sources, and ultimately it comes from Krishna. So Krishna arranges for me to grow by serving him. And then finally P, so he permits us to make choices, allowing for free will. He teaches that when we make sincere efforts, divine grace fills the gaps. Yeah, I'll have to think more about this too. Add my purport, but yeah, basically this is the framework that he gave. I'll post that lecture on LOD, and it's a beautiful class actually. I loved that class. So
Yeah.
yeah, very
Yeah,
good.
thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, Prabhuji, and thank you, Gautama Prabhu, for sharing the gap version. It also reminds me of Sukha Mataji. So, yeah, I really like this thing of connecting our life, connecting our moments with Krishna, like how everything is connected. And that's the way that we can actually bring Krishna in the center, that how we are not the controllers, like the little things. It wouldn't be like, oh, I won this, but I'm not the controller. It doesn't come on those big moments. It needs to start with little moments as well. Like, yeah, it can be anything. The ability or anything to think or speak right now, it's coming to Krishna as well. So, what I gathered for this point, again, I just have one way like that I could think of for how do we attain peace. So that's why I wanted it to open it for the discussion as well. So Rukmi, he was extremely envious, and to some extent, if not envious, there is arrogance, there is pride, lust, greed, like all the six major narthas. Like when there is arrogance, there is tendency for envy as well, and both of things, these are in relation to mind. And when things come with the relation to mind, it sets the stage for envy, and we need to like separate. So as I was saying, like for the previous slide, that where is it all starting, when I was thinking about it and when I was listening to the lectures, so it starts with the mind. that Rukmi had such an important role to play in this entire pastime. And it comes like, if I am my body, that means you are your body. If I am my intelligence, that means you are your intelligence as well. So whatever I have, if it's mine, like the wealth, the ability, the skills, the popularity, if whatever I have is mine, then what you have is yours as well. And if we have more, we become more arrogant. And if we have less, we become envious or frustrated with the person who has more. So when this I and mine, so I didn't think it like that. So when I think of I, me, mine, I just think of that, yeah, I think that I am the controller. And that's where I stop. Then when I was listening to Maharaj and when he put it like that, that envy or arrogance or whatever the frustration is coming when, because I'm thinking, if I have my stuff, then you, whatever you have is also yours. And that escalates to the sad feelings of frustration, envy, arrogance, and anger as well. So all of these are frustrating. So, and then we also, whatever thoughts we also have, like good thoughts, bad thoughts, we also try to make them as our own identity as well, that I am bad, I am good, regret, guilt, so many things. So the recent talk that me, Ritesh Prabhu, we attended at Rutgers by Raj Bihari Prabhu, it talked about it like, we have two sides. On one side, we have Krishna. On our right side, we have Krishna. And on our left side, we have a big 24 feet tall demon. So it's up to us that if we turn towards Krishna or if we turn towards the mind, the tall demon, the mind, intelligence, and ego. So if we turn towards nowadays, like since we are not very, since we are conditioned and everything, even if we try to turn towards Krishna, our head or our torso is like that, like we are halfway through it, or even one third, or how much ever we are towards Krishna. We are mostly like the mind, the intelligence, the ego. They attract the sham they show us, and if we reach to that point where we turn towards Krishna, ahem is the biggest enemy to deal with. That's true. Yeah, arrogance, it leads to pride. It leads to envy, and envy and pride are some things that we cannot even offer to Krishna. So yeah, very rightly mentioned, Mataji. So yeah, Rajbihari Prabhu, he mentioned how we can turn to either side. It's up to us. But what important is to differentiate from that mind, separating our thoughts that I am not that mind, I am not that pride, I am not that arrogance, I am not that envy. So it's not my soul that has those designations, and even the positive ones as well. Like, I am not the PhD, I am not the Indian, I am not the student. So separating those thoughts from the mind, like thoughts that are going in the mind from the soul, that seeing those from the third person perspective. So there is one thing that Prabhuji shared in that lecture. So this was the lecture that he shared, that's there uploaded on YouTube as well, that he gave in the Rutgers club. So it was awareness journal. So he said that he has many journals that he maintains, and one of those is awareness journal. That the aim of that journal is to like separate the mind and the intelligence. So he said that he always starts writing a prayer, Krishna, I love you, and he starts writing, and he starts to write his prayer, but he stops because the mind is continuously going on with different type of stuff. And then he asked us, he gave us 3 minutes during that session, and I would recommend, like, he said that he does this every morning for 5 minutes, and he sets up an alarm for 5 minutes, and he starts writing like non-stop whatever the mind is saying, just writing it down, even if it's like, what is my mind saying? Like, even in that situation when I was writing, I was just writing it. Why is my mind going blank? Why is my pen making so much sound? What is everyone writing? So I was just writing whatever my mind was saying. And he said, there will be a point when the mind goes blank, like there is nothing, because you have written all the thoughts. And that's the time, those are the breaks that you start to pray. Again, he said he write the same line, Krishna, I love you, and I pray whatever the prayer is for that moment, because now the mind is silent. So what he mentioned was to attain the peace. Again, the peace, attaining the peace in this world, like the peace we are aiming for, that's not possible. But having that connection, having that peace that yes, I am connected to Krishna and Krishna is there to save me, to protect me, to love me. So we have so many layers, and slow by slow, removing those layers, silencing that mind, and increasing the voice of Krishna within us. So that is one way that I really wanted to share here. And I really liked the awareness journal part of it. And before, so I'm not going to like go till 10. I'm about to finish. So I just went for 1 hour. So, uh, just one before ending, I wanted to mention the quick pastime. Like there are more pastimes of Rukmini Devi. So one quick pastime is the Tula Brahm pastime, where Satyabhama was involved and she wanted to prove her devotion. And that weighing ceremony, it was set up, and Krishna sits on one side, and there are gold and jewels on the other. And no matter how much weight and now how much wealth Rukmini Devi, Satyabhama was adding on one side, it was not enough. And then Rukmini Devi, she suggests or she shows up. I don't remember if she personally comes and keeps the Tulsi leaf with devotion on the other side, and the balance it goes up. So that example is there where Satyabhama, outer she has wealth and she has control, but inner she has that agitation, she has that comparison. Well, Rukmini Devi, she just makes simple offering externally, and internally she had that complete peace and devotion. So question might arise, why is she peaceful and why Satyabhama is disturbed? So it's just the mental state. Like Rukmini Devi, she had full dependence on Krishna. She had pure intention. While Satyabhama, she had that desire to control in that situation, the ego comparison, external focus. So even with us, like the question comes like in the services we do we try to are we doing those out of comparisons, or out of are we trying to impress or please? Like whom are we trying to please? Are we trying to please people who are watching us? Are we doing those for the pictures? Are we doing those, like so many things that might show up that the mind can wrap us into. So journaling, awareness journal, I was thinking about it, how awareness journal helps in those ways and helps in finding the whys, like why am I doing this? And to be honest, it has helped me, like being in a chaotic situation, and as soon as I know the why, like why am I feeling anxious right now, even the NVC, like the nonviolent communications, mostly about the whys or what's as well, like the feelings, the needs, like why am I feeling this way? What are my needs? So yeah, in our services, even in our relationships, are we the actions we are doing, whatever we are doing, knowing the whys, they might set our minds to peace. Like if we are not doing it out of something that is making us grow, our intent is not making us grow, or is not, there is no growth for us, so we might try to change our direction. So there are some things that this awareness journal might help us and might help to clear our mind, to give us some peace and to bring Krishna in the center, like who am I doing this for? And Krishna is not attracted by quantity. He just sees the consciousness, and that consciousness is responsible for creating peace. And with that, I would like to end and just offer this prayer to Shri Rukmani Dwarkadish, that the way she was able to fix her mind, even a tinge, or even a drop, even a percent, even 0.0001%, if we are able to fix our heart and mind and soul to onto Krishna and call him the way she did to save us, to come and protect us, yeah, that would be the peace we are looking for. And yeah, may we are able to remember Rukmini Devi during our not so peaceful moments, the disturbing moments. And yeah, that's all I wanted to present and talk about. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope I didn't do the pieces of your piece. Hari Bol, Hari Krishna.
Thank you, Nupur. Beautiful class, as always. Very in-depth questions and I liked the dichotomy inner chaos. I mean, outer chaos, inner peace versus outer chaos, inner peace. Did I repeat the same thing? I did. That means I'm not peaceful
No, we got the bhava.
but yeah,
You're
so
always in inner peace, Prabhu. That's why you cannot think outside of it.
so, but yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, you told me that you didn't have much shastra, but this was perfect. This was how it should be. Like there is reflection, there is nice content, there is shastra as well. So yeah, in all respects, it was good. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I just repeated what Maharaj said. I have his notes here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just going to say that analogy that you
Yeah.
drew, or the mapping with Rukmi as the mind and Bhishmaka as the intelligence and Brahmana as the spiritual master. Was that, and of course, devotees, Rukmini. I think that is something that I like to ponder over after the class. Yeah, it was very beautiful. It covered all the aspects of and not just the yes, this Bhagavatam connection with the Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita sloka of the peace, and then finally you reined it in with the uh, how to internally connect with our mind to actually get past it, and the peace is kind of within inside of us, and it can be um, you know uh, achieved, I guess, of course, with Krishna's grace. But yeah,
Thank you.
I just wanted to also say that for that journaling, the awareness journaling. Yeah, I whenever I try to write down what I'm thinking, my thoughts, like my mind goes blank because it's like a deer on a headlight. Oh, now I'm giving it attention, so mind is like completely blanked. So
Mm.
I will never be able to actually write down my thoughts. I don't know if it is. It's like, can you write and also think? I, I don't know. It seems like maybe I'm like in the kindergarten or even preschool stage of
Yeah,
journey.
even during the time Prabhuji, he said I was writing, like my mind was constantly thinking something, but was thinking what to think right now.
Yeah. So
Like,
those things
yeah,
are okay. I mean, like,
yeah.
okay, I can write about that. I can but then the real thinking, like those deep things, and then you
Mm,
like deep cabins during chanting, right?
mm,
Those kind of things I will never be able to write down
mm.
because you're giving it that attention and then it suddenly vanishes. Just like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I
But yeah, he mentions when that moment comes and your brain is entirely blank, that is the moment you take a break and write the prayer,
huh.
because
So,
that's the time your mind is the most silent. Like there is nothing.
hmm.
So, yeah,
Yes, she's
yeah.
disappearing.
I think one of
And
the sorry, go ahead, go
sorry,
ahead.
Prabhuji. No, no, no. You go ahead.
No, you complete your point.
नहीं है Prabhuji, आप बोलो.
One of those journaling types is also that, na, free writing, like just write. Um, I mean, you don't have to think anything deep or anything. Just write what you're thinking, even if the
Mm.
thought is, as Nupur mentioned, that I don't have any thoughts. Just write that down. Like, uh, yeah, why am I not getting any thoughts? We can think like that, but also just put it in writing. Why am I not
Yeah,
getting
so
any?
that is the only thing that I write. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't write things that actually I'm thinking during chanting, like things that happen.
Mm,
How the mind keeps reeling about
yeah,
Mm.
things when you chant, you realize, right? How
yeah.
it goes on, like all those things I will never be able to write.
Mm.
I can only
Just
write these things. Immediately it'll be like, okay, what should I write?
Mm,
mm.
I'm putting my pen on the paper. This is what I'm writing. I have nothing to write. That's what I'm writing.
No, I have nothing to write, but when I sit to chant, thousands of thoughts come to
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
Why
Mm.
is this happening?
yeah.
oh mind or whatever, whoever your address, I address it to Krishna.
Anchal.
So, like that, when I'm sitting and chanting, I get hundreds of thoughts. But when I'm now is the time for me to contemplate on these things, but nothing is coming,
Ah,
just writing all that. I guess you have to remove your mind from its comfort zone, I guess.
Mm.
yeah, somehow from as a background process, I need to.
Yeah.
When I confront the mind, it stops thinking.
Yeah.
He
Somehow,
also
like
says, like, during chanting, if you're getting a lot of thoughts and the mind is not stopping, to finish that round and write it down. Like
oh,
he mentioned in one of his classes that
mm,
when his
that's
mind
probably
is
it.
very
Yeah,
loud,
like dump the log.
yeah, and then get back to chanting.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mm.
It's all a
Suman
Yeah,
Mataji
process.
says.
yeah, it's always like that, Mataji, for everyone. You're not alone. Chanting, when I have to solve a problem, chanting is the best way.
Exactly. I thought I'm not pure enough. My mind is corrupted. That's why I get a lot of thoughts. And what thoughts? All the solutions come during that time. I'm like, that's not the purpose of chanting. I'm not looking for those solutions. Why solutions are coming during chanting? And at this time, I should be just thinking of Krishna.
Yeah.
So then a class about that should be useful. How to just focus your mind on Krishna during chanting at least.
Oh, there are many classes actually. The Living Name workshop series itself is there by
Mhm.
Sachinandan Maharaj in YouTube. Um, it says some strategies
Mm.
about yeah.
Partha Prabhu here, he had come up with some tool. He did share. It worked in the beginning. I tried implementing on me, but then after a while, the mind start proposing my own strategies. So, so I then alternate. I say, okay, this is similar, so this I can implement alternate strategy. But then it worked for some time, but it then my mind just had its own story to implement. So I don't know if there's a true solution to this. I mean, there must be because pure devotees. There's so many pure devotees who are able to focus on Krishna only 24/7.
Mm.
Um, that's one thing that I really am looking for a solution. How to do that?
So, have
Sometimes it feels so mechanical. Sorry, I interrupted.
no, no, not at all, Mataji. I read this book by Sachinandan Maharaj. Forget the name. How can I forget? It was such a wonderful book. Anyway,
Living Name,
uh,
Living Name.
no, no, no. The one
Broken
that
names.
Broken Names, Broken Names. In that, some of the things that Maharaj has written are very nice. So, and this, like, I think about this, like, when we chant, if
Mm,
I'm thinking that I should think of Krishna, I should think of Krishna, I should reject all these, thoughts. Because the nature of the mind is sure, sometimes there'll be nice thoughts. There'll
mm,
be thoughts that, oh, Krishna is so nice, Krishna is providing me with so many things, Krishna is giving me so much opportunity, ability. I should beg for Krishna's mercy, I should beg for the love for Krishna.
mm,
All these thoughts come sometimes, but sometimes some other thoughts come, right? But
mm,
then, like, one thing that Maharaj writes in that book is the chanting is not really about, it's not like a wrestling match between you and your thoughts.
mm,
So he writes that, rather than focusing on, because if I'm totally focusing, no, I want to think of Krishna, I want to think of Krishna, I want to think of Krishna, that is also a thought that is in a way distracting. So
mm,
then what I understood from it is, okay, if thoughts are coming, I'll not like, bother myself and in a sense that, struggle and try to fight with them. Why is this thought coming? This should not come. This should not come. Rather than that,
mm,
just focus on the sound vibration. Okay, thoughts are there in the mind, but just try to hear. Like, sometimes we might be listening to songs and we might be working at the same time, right? So we are listening to the song, that sound vibration is going in, right?
mm,
Now, this does not mean we deliberately keep all distractions with us while we are chanting. We take out Instagram. Anyway, it's about hearing. No, it's not like that. It's more like, we are hearing out a person. Like, let's say we are on a phone call with someone. We are hearing that person out attentively. It's something like that. At that point of time, while we are hearing a person out, while we are talking to a close friend, for example, it's not that we are constantly focusing on why this other thought is coming to my mind. It's just that we are just focusing on that sound. So similarly, Krishna is in that sound. So Krishna is there in the thought, if we can think of Krishna, sure. But in chanting specifically, Krishna is in that sound. So when I say Hare Krishna, it's actually Krishna there in that sound. So we can pray to that sound itself, and whatever thoughts are coming, we can even, for that matter, pray to that sound saying that, Dear Krishna, in the form of the holy name, look, these thoughts are coming to me right now. That way, then you're not focusing and using up your mental energy to fight with those thoughts, but more like engaging those thoughts, expressing those thoughts rather, to Krishna in the form of the holy name, while you're hearing, while that sound vibration is going in. So that is what I come to understand. But anyway, that is just me.
Thank you, Prabhu. I'll keep that in mind. Actually, I've even used Rup Dhyan, in that Partha Prabhu, that he has explained that you different colors, red color for Krishna's feet and so on. Scan the body of the Lord. Rup Dhyan, or different leelas. It does work though. It does work, but you're sitting there for 30-40 minutes and it still goes, the mind still goes goes in different directions. But I'll remember that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I don't know if I was articulate in what I explained, but there's something like, we don't have to focus so much on, fighting the thoughts. If we, yeah.
Be sahaj, maybe sahajta, with sahajta it should come, right? Not fighting.
Yeah, and that ease doesn't come by fighting. That ease comes by engaging our thoughts in the holy name, which is a very tricky thing. I agree. But if you fight your thoughts now, then you will feel like after one round, you will feel exhausted. My God, this is over. Now I don't have to fight my thoughts anymore. But I don't know if chanting should be that. Chanting should be like that. I don't know. Chanting should be more with ease, as you said, and with the heart. Yeah.
So we're talking about chanting and the focus. One more thing I experience is that, but when I'm sitting I have a small temple in front of in the morning, I sit and chant. At that time, my mind runs in different direction more than when I chant while walking. It's a little bit less. So I attended a class a few months ago on chanting, and I asked this question from Prabhuji, that is it okay to walk and chant? So the answer was, obviously, it said it's a connection that you're making while walking or sitting. You can do that. But in other classes, I also heard, no, you shouldn't be doing that. You should sit at one place and chant. So is it something that whatever works for you, it's ultimately it's a connection with Krishna?
Yeah.
I'm still infant in this bhakti. I may be asking very naive questions. Yeah, I'm still naive. I'm probably older than all of you, but I still infant in bhakti. So
Not at all. If you are naive, you consider yourself naive with all these questions, then we are also naive. Naive. We are not any different, actually. I guess most of us. So thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah. If you walk and chant, that means your mind is running, and to keep the speed with your mind that is running, you walk and chant. That therefore you should not walk and chant. All these things are said, but yeah, it's important who we hear from, and as you said, whether we are really connecting. It's you might get the deepest of realizations while you're walking and chanting. You never know.
it's less wandering. It's less wandering when I'm walking and chanting.
Yeah. So if you're able to hear the sound vibrations better, with focus while you're walking and chanting, then why not? Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Anyway, sorry.
Okay.
Kept blabbering a lot.
No, this is very helpful. Thank you, Prabhu.
Any other thoughts, dear devotees, on the class or anything in general that is being discussed? Please share. Or any concluding thoughts, Nupur?
No concluding thoughts, Roger. I'm peaceful. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you for the opportunity, though. Thank you. I really enjoyed listening to the lectures. And I couldn't do justice. This was mostly from Radhanath Maharaj's lectures on this 10th canto and 52 to 54th chapter. He really gives great classes, very great classes. And even the question answer sessions are really nice in that. Like Anand Vrindavan Prabhu, he asks very serious questions.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think we'll wrap up then. Thank you very much, dear devotees. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। शील प्रभुपाद की जय। हर ग्रेस नुपुर माता जी की जय।